we've been high on the Bulls. Some people weren't high on the DeMar DeRozan offseason move, but
We always said it was great.
we have been since day one liking it. And obviously the Lonzo move, and who doesn't want Alex Caruso on their team? It's
Yeah,
worked out exactly like we thought it would. DeMar's been scoring a lot more than I thought he would, and playmaking a lot less than I thought he
less.
would.
Yeah,
But it's been awesome to see. Unfortunately, since we last talked, Patrick Williams has been ruled out at least for the rest of the regular season. Not sure about
yeah.
playoffs, which sucks. He was kind of a nice glue guy in their team. Maybe not too important offensively. They have enough talent there, but defensively was one of their better,
Defensively amazing.
one of their better defenders, and a young guy who we were expecting a lot from this year. But before we get into potential replacements or ways they can work around that, what
Yeah.
have your thoughts been on the Bulls so far? Like, is this we're gonna keep seeing this from DeMar DeRozan, the closer, the number one option, the 28 to 30 point scorer every night, or is what's gonna happen there?
He's just doing this because he has to, right? Because Zach LaVine still has that wrist issue, and Vucevic is still learning how to play as the third option because he's been the first option for a decent amount of time now. Like he's
6
been the
years.
first option since the Dwight Howard trade to Los Angeles. Like that's like 6-7 years. Like he has been that guy. So it's been a while. It's been an adjustment period for him. And then we have Zach LaVine dealing with an injury. So they just said, hey, DeMar, you have been the guy that's, you've done this before. You played in red in the East and you scored 25 points before. Just do it again.
Yeah.
Keep us afloat. And Zach LaVine's still playing great. I'm not saying he's playing bad, right? But he has a teammate that he can rely on. Like that's just something that he should do, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but when Zach LaVine's wrist gets fully healthy, I can see him, I can see them doing like hot hand for hot hand, like whoever has it go. Whereas right now it's just like DeMar go, you know what I mean? So I could see that happening. I could see the playmaking increase then because he's one of the best playmaking forwards in the league. So I could see that increasing. But Lonzo Ball and Alex Caruso as like a backup point guard and starting point guard have been doing an amazing job playmaking anyways. So this Bulls team is just like, they're just clicking on everything. Like everything that was imagined is just instantly clicking and like no chemistry issues and everything's going
Yeah.
well. And they're still adding Kobe White soon, who's just going to be a microwave scorer off the bench, finally just come in and shoot, and he's going to do good. And yeah, Derrick Jones just, he just came back from that little injury and he's playing better
Mm-hmm.
with more energy and with those crazy hops. So they're just kind of like a whole team. They're like a team. Even though they have three great players and a big three, the rest of the team is still there and they still have substance. They're going to be a playoff team and a fun team to watch.
Yeah, it's like I'm watching the Bulls. I'm like, these guys are so deep. They have so many guys, and they just say,
Yeah,
"Oh yeah, Kobe White. Still have him. They still have
yeah,
Derrick Jones Jr." Like that, it's crazy how much depth that they have. And maybe people who didn't watch DeMar as much as us on the
yeah,
Raptors, and even obviously we watched him on the Spurs just because we love him.
yeah.
Maybe that's why they didn't expect this. They didn't know how good of a playmaker he was. How like if you give him spacing,
He's
he
finding
can
a
be a
shot.
go-to scorer. He can find a shot. He can get to
Yeah,
the line. He's been getting to the line at will so far for them this year. So
yeah.
we saw that coming, and I'm glad we were on that since day one. And I think everyone is kind of seeing just how good he can be with shooters around him.
Yeah, DeMar DeRozan, he's just like it hurts to say, but like Toronto wasn't like the biggest like spotlight right, for media. Obviously, we've grown a lot with the Drake years, with the championship. The championship and Kawhi made it times 100, times like a million, right? Like we got so much more media attention. So back when DeMar DeRozan was here, the media wasn't there, and then he went to San Antonio, and one of the reasons why Kawhi left San Antonio was because he wasn't getting any media attention. So obviously DeMar went there and he wasn't getting media attention. He should have been an All-Star last year over Mike Conley.
Yeah.
Like I guarantee you, if he was playing for like Los Angeles Lakers and it was the exact same record
I
and
think so.
everything, it's not anything. So we know he's
Yeah.
an All-Star there.
Yeah.
But it just is what it is. That's the kind of negatives that small teams face. And this white Chicago Bulls is one of the biggest markets because everyone's acting like DeMar DeRozan is doing this for the first time, even though he's been doing this. Same with Kyle Lowry it's a little tangent, but people are Kyle Lowry, people are saying like this is like the second coming of Steve Nash. He's gonna win like MIP. This guy's like just like Chris Paul. Kyle Lowry hasn't even been as good as like last year, Kyle Lowry. Like that's how people don't even realize. Like this is just who Kyle Lowry is, and this is just like those big market teams, Miami and Chicago, showing like what their network is and how big they are. Like once you go to those teams, you get so much more eyes on you.
Yeah. You can understand why players want to go
Wanna
there, but
go
also
there.
it can work both ways too. Because if DeMar goes there and he was, not
Bad.
doing what we thought he would do, then it can work the other way. Before we
Yeah.
get off the Bulls, you had an idea of how they could work around this Patrick Williams injury.
Yeah. So I heard King of the Fourth Quarter, Kenny, he mentioned it, and that's Kyle Anderson to the Bulls. It would be for Derek Jones Jr. The only thing is, do you think he goes for a first round pick? Because he isn't expiring on $9 million. So do you think someone throws a first round pick? Because the Bulls could throw 2 seconds, 3 seconds. But I don't know if they throw a first round pick because it has to be a 2027 first round pick, which is so far in the future that the Bulls probably don't want to throw. They don't want to throw Kobe White already because he's just like he's just so young and so early in his career. They don't want to already throw him. So their best package is Derek Jones Jr. and 2 to 3 second round picks. If that gets accepted, great. And we'll talk about his fit with the team, just amazing. Like imagine you add Kyle Anderson's size of 6'9", starting power forward with that playmaking and defense. Oh man, that's gonna be an amazing fit. And he's literally gonna elevate them to like they could be anyone besides the Nets. Like that's how much it's gonna elevate them. They could go with the Milwaukee Bucks and the Miami Heat.
No, I agree. And as for the trade package itself, I wouldn't give up that 2027 first. That's too far. 5 years, 6 years in the future. That's just you can't possibly. But I'm having trouble thinking of a team that will give up a first round pick for Kyle Anderson. So 2 seconds, I don't know. I think that's a pretty good at the deadline. If Memphis isn't in it, like that's pretty good deal.
It's not even that if they're not in it because he's coming off the bench right now.
Yeah. And
Dylan Brooks is returning like tomorrow. So he's gonna get even less minutes.
Yeah.
And he's always gonna have such a limited role, right? Because Desmond Bane took a huge step, DeAndre Melton took a huge step.
Yeah.
So those guys just reduced Kyle Anderson's steps that you're not gonna re-sign this guy. Like realistically, right? You're not gonna re-sign this guy. So you're in an Evan Fournier situation where not like the Magic situation, but like because the Magic were going full rebuild, but you just had guys step up and replace him who are young. So you want to give those guys minute and still, go within the team because Dylan Brooks is going to start. Melton's going to come off the bench probably, and that's going to push Kyle Anderson's minutes from a 6-man to like a 7th-man, 8-man now. So he gets less minutes. It's going to be fun to see, man. He is going to get traded. It's either the Timberwolves if they're still like in that play-in.
Yeah.
If they, hopefully if Cat doesn't request that trade, then they probably go for him. But we could see him getting traded. I just hope it happens to the Bulls.
Yeah, him, Thaddeus Young, these guys are the prime trade candidates at the deadline that maybe no one's talking about too much. But yeah, it's going to be really, really interesting to see. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here so you never miss the best clips from Stretch the Floor. Hit the links in the description below to find us on all podcast platforms. And follow us on Instagram.